Hello, hello! Welcome to a new year, and welcome back to the Scrollies podcast. I am Squat Cobbler. I am joined by my co-host.
It's Ratman. It's a new year, a new me, a new everything, and everything is brighter. I don't know what it is.
I think the fiber optic internet is brighter, Ratman. It's the year of the rat!
It's the year of the rat. If you're right, and I do have fiber by the time this comes out...
Oh, I thought you already had it.
No, I don't have fiber in. Hopefully, we'll see. If not, I'm still on cable. So, but it's doing a lot better.
The year of the rat begins shortly, maybe, possibly, if the ISP wants to.
Yeah, I was gonna say, to be fair, that is how the Chinese New Year is not quite at the same time, so.
Yeah, you know what? There you go. The year of the rat begins the Chinese New Year.
Yeah.
It's 2023 for us, and, not only are we back, but we also have our very first guest ever returning. First guest of the new year was also the first guest on Scrollies last year. Welcome back, CinnaMANToast.
Hello. It is so great to be here. Thank you so much. I want to thank my manager for getting me out here, for working the deal out. You guys got the lifetime supply of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, right?
We're not legally allowed to say anything, but
Oh.
Yeah, and I think this is the off-brand store brand.
Yeah, you got the Cinnamon Toasters deal, the brand deal.
No. It says it's CinnaMANToast Crunch. There's no sugar in it. It's all.
It's just cinnamon.
It's in Portuguese. I'm not sure.
I mean, nonetheless, yes, it did come, and I mean, hey, we got a snack on something here at the Scrolly Studio.
Okay,
so,
sweet.
It's filling the pantry.
Yeah, I just want to make sure before I started, that was all secured. Don't want to waste my time, type deal. I'm a busy man. I'm a busy Cinnaman.
Your manager said as much. I mean, they were pounding on the door for 10 months straight, but nonetheless, we finally let them in. It was starting to get cold out, and we figured it would cause a controversy if anything happened. Yeah,
my cat can be pretty brutal and just unforgiving when she is impatient.
Well, Waffles is used to the streets, so fortunately, it handled herself fine out there. But nonetheless,
yeah, you don't want to mess with her, man. She knows how to cut you up, and she will do it in a heartbeat.
Oh, she got the message across loud and clear. Have Cinnamon back on, or I'll keep scratching. So we're like, hey, all right.
I'll meow. I'll do it.
It is pretty fun that the CinnaMANToast household, everyone is just some form of breakfast pastry.
Apparently. I wasn't even thinking about that when we were my girlfriend and I were just looking up cat names.
Yeah.
And she goes, oh, what about pancake? And I was like, we're getting there, but I think waffles would be better. I think that's a better name. Plus, waffles are just better than pancakes. They're pancakes with abs. Let's be real.
Yeah,
actually,
that's your girlfriend French toast, right?
Well, I've been calling her CinnaWoman lately, but French toast might be.
I was gonna say, I don't think you get to call her CinnaWoman until there's a ring involved or something.
That's actually a good point.
That's part of the vows.
That's part of the legally binding.
I promise to call you my CinnaWoman every day. Everyone at my wedding is gonna be like, "What the hell?"
Along with everyone listening.
Yeah,
we're all invited. All of you that are listening, you're invited.
Yeah. That was part of the contract, having him back on.
Okay. It's a good thing I'm probably never getting married.
Jeez, dude.
My door's about to get busted down. What'd you just say? What'd you say? But yeah, it's a great honor to be back here. I've been wanting to come back ever since we ended the first episode because you had kind of teased oh, what if we did single player? Yes. Why did we start with multiplayer? Why didn't we start?
Brought you on thinking, oh, this guy plays a ton of multiplayer games on stream. Naturally, he must prefer multiplayer games, only for you to drop that bombshell. Oh, yeah, I actually like single-player games better at the very end. And we're like, what?
I do.
So, yeah, naturally, this was always going to happen.
I have been allotted 20 minutes to gush over The Last of Us, so we will put the timestamps in of when you can skip when we get there. Just kidding.
Oh, yeah, I'm seeing Waffles scratching tally marks, and I didn't actually add them up, but they do equal 20, so fair enough.
She has her weird way of counting, so.
Yeah. And don't worry, I mean, pretty much people always skip. They just basically show up to see, like, they listen to the first 2 minutes and they listen to the last 2 minutes to the post credit bits.
Mhm.
I don't know, the metrics tell us no one's actually listening.
If you're listening right now, share your favorite breakfast cereal commercial GIF in the Scrollies Discord channel.
And hello there, maintainer. I know it's you.
And if it's not Cinnamon Toast Crunch, I don't want to see it. Post it as a spoiler. So, a spoily. If it's not Cinnamon Toast Crunch related, post it as a spoily, so I don't even have to disgrace my eyes with the sight. If it's Honey Nut Cheerios, I'll accept it. That's a decent second. But honeycombs, spoil it. Blur that crap.
Spoiled rotten, spoiled milk. Yeah, Cinna, we'll be talking about these single player games in a moment, but before we do, what are we all streaming lately? Let's keep it relegated to single player.
All right.
Oh boy.
So I took a 2-month break, 2-week, different time period, different time.
I couldn't survive without 2 months of content, man.
So I took a 2-week break because of Christmas, because of the holidays. So I haven't streamed anything technically lately, but thankfully, just before I left, I was able to finish Plague's Tale Requiem, and I hated it.
Aww.
I was so upset because I was hyped for that game because I adored the first game. Absolutely adored the first game. That story was incredible. The visuals were amazing. It was a beautiful game. Like, it was just such an awesome game. I was hyped for the second one. And I have, as non-spoily as I could, shared with Rat here my distaste for the ending. Yeah. It was a sad ending, don't get me wrong. I genuinely sat there and I was like, oh, wow, okay. I called it, but didn't think it was gonna happen. You know, like, but I didn't like it. I hated it. I really did. I was so upset that I hated it so much too.
Well, I hate to hear the Rat Cyclone was a letdown, and we have to revert back to the Ratnado that is the first game.
There was no Rat Cyclone in the second.
Oh, well, okay, in that case, yeah, not even worth the time.
There's a rat tidal wave.
Doesn't have quite the same ring to it.
True.
You can't create anything off of that. That's an awful name.
Well, Ratnado of Plague's Tale 1, how about yourself? What single-player games have you been playing that aren't Final Fantasy XIV?
Let me tell you about the greatest story ever told. It might as well be a single-player, and it's the main scenario quest from Final Fantasy...
I knew it.
It takes you about 20 years to finish.
Oh, yeah, no, it's taken me a long time. No, actually, really, I've been playing offline, Fire Emblem 3 Hopes. I've been playing that a little bit. I have been playing Ocarina of Time again on stream because my internet's kind of been doing okay. Ooh. And that's been pretty fun. And most of all, Crisis Core. Final Fantasy VII, Crisis Core Reunion. Those are kind of the big three that I'm cycling through right now. And they're all pretty fun. And I'm getting ready, hopefully, to finish Plague Tale Requiem. So I think I'm about halfway through it. I just need to finish the game at some point.
Let me know what you think, because I want to hear.
I don't think I saved them, but if you saw them, you would see that, like, I'm fairly disappointed so far. They did. I mean, the story wise, I'm like, it's not bad. Yeah. It's not terrible so far, but it's kind of just the same beats over and over. And there are so many things like with the controls that they just did not fix. It's like, there's no reason why you're bringing this terrible thing back from the first game. Like, I allow it in the first game. AA game, I understand it, low budget, but it's like, at this point, you gotta fix it.
I would say the only gameplay mechanic that they improved was the fact that you do not have to find stones anymore. That's unlimited. I think that's
it's a lot better. But yeah, no, I've been playing some stuff offline, but not as much. I mean, that's, you know, where my time's going. Come on, let's be honest. But yeah, I would say that's about it.
Let's hear definitively here on Scrollies. Is Crisis Core Reunion Yes-Mura or No-Mura?
It is still No-Mura.
Better, though?
Here's the thing. It just looks nicer. That's about it. It's not... And here's the thing, I will never argue with somebody that Crisis Core is a good game, and I will not argue that it is, but I still like it because it's silly and it's Final Fantasy VII. So
As it goes. No surprise there. Final Fantasy VII, at least tolerable, no matter how,
yeah, it's not, I don't like it because of itself. It's just because of what it's attached to. And also that it's kind of bad. It becomes like a B movie at that point of just like, oh gosh, really? Come on, guys.
I can understand that. As for myself, I mean, not streaming anything, am doing the Mario and Rabbids playthrough still on YouTube. I recently was able to up the upload rate to 2 videos a week, and I asked the people over on the huge Discord, hey, do you want to see 2 episodes of the same game each week, or do you want to see 1 episode of 2 different games each week? And pretty unanimously, people said, hey, get through the one game and then move on to the next. So fair enough. We're moving through that a lot faster now. I am on to World 2, and I should be through World 2 in just a few weeks on to World 3. That said, I am a little disappointed that I am not doing 2 games going up at the same time, because the other game would have been Sonic Frontiers, which I have now completed offline. And let me tell you, I'll say it here and now, I don't think I've ever 180'd on a game so hard as Sonic Frontiers. I can't believe I'm saying it.
Oh,
so it starts out, and I mean, I didn't think it was bad, but it started out, I'm like, okay, this is pretty jank as far as the graphics go, and the controls, and the camera,
and the draw distance,
and the pop in. I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's
oh no.
So I'm playing through this Sonic game, and I mean, you know, it's fun. Like I'm wandered around, and even though I guess the open world movements aren't really conducive to traditional Sonic 2D linear levels, they're still functional. I can still play through them. So I'm like, all right, well, you know, I'm just gonna play for 5 more minutes, and then 3 hours pass and I'm still playing. I'm like, oh wow, where's the time going? I just do one little thing and then I get drawn in by another little thing. Yeah. So I'm doing that. I'm going through the first world, the first island, and then finally I have enough of the Chaos Emeralds. It's time for the boss. I'm like, all right, let's head up on there and do that. And there's this pretty fun way. You just kind of climb up through this little platforming section to get up there for one, and then finally you reach the boss, and I won't say exactly like what happens, no spoilers, because the second the boss fight starts, I just gotta say, this game didn't have to go as hard as it did, but it did. The boss fights are such a highlight. I could not believe how much it ramped up in intensity and hype, and I mean, probably the best parts of the game right there, those boss fights. Funny enough, though, the final boss, I think pretty well agreed upon, it's a letdown. It's better if you play on hard mode, so disclaimer, if you're thinking of playing the game, play it on hard mode, because you get another phase of the final boss that makes it more than just a QTE event. So
Ooh.
a little better in that sense. And it's not really a hard game to begin with, so I don't really think that hard mode was really even like hard. Just about anyone could do it, I guess.
Now the real question is there a Casino World section?
There actually is a pinball little mini game.
What?
That's required, and it's horrible. The physics of it are so bad, and you have to do it to actually like beat the game. So I didn't like that.
I'm just gonna wait for the game to go on PlayStation Plus.
Overall, I gotta say I love the game, even though it has some very glaring, obvious flaws. I think it's a really good first step for them to improve upon greatly in a sequel. And for once in the history of my time playing Sonic, I'm actually hopeful for the future. Haven't been able to say that in a long time, so there you go.
Wow, incredible. That's really good. Full disclosure, I was looking for, I was like, oh, I remember Squat said he might stream his as well. He asked me to stream it, at least the beginning of it, to see how I liked it. And when I went to Google and I typed in Squat Cobbler Sonic, there was a link up there.
Oh, no.
It just opened a week ago, an archive of our own. Squat Cobbler has already written like 50 pages of Sonic fan fiction in 1 week. This is crazy.
He found the DeviantArt account.
And it's really good. He's got like multiple 5-star reviews.
I didn't think I'd be unveiling it here, but there it is, everyone. The Sonic fan fiction. It's there for you to read. Don't open images. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. Go on safe browser, safe Safari. The real follow-up question, though, is does a human fall in love with Sonic again?
Fortunately, no human relationships are made present in the game.
I don't know if I want it anymore.
With hedgehogs or otherwise.
I'm sure the modders will be out there, or some DLC. Something is coming.
They'll pick up the slack. Modders do what Segant. Sega not. Marketing will come up with a better one.
We're getting there.
So, all that being said, single player games. Am I right?
Great. Phenomenal segue.
Segaway. There we go.
That was my Segaway.
Segaway.
Yeah. Probably my preferred type of game.
Same.
Multiplayer's fun. But, I mean, usually, I think especially now, you're playing with god-tier 10-year-olds on any online game you play multiplayer, so...
That's pretty crazy.
Unless you have the time to put into it, you're not going to really be the best of the bunch.
That is a hard issue that I face where, like, I'm still really good at games, but I am not a cracked-out Adderall 12-year-old who has all the time in the world because they don't have a full-time job and they're not tired afterwards and... they don't have a failing metabolism, so they have to go work out.
You once were, Cinna. You once were.
I once was. Dude, no. Back in middle school, high school, I was making some serious money off of, like, betting from playing multiplayer against my buddies. And now I'm just like, do I want to play online? I have played, I think, maybe 5 multiplayer games on the new Modern Warfare 2. And I was like, I don't think I ever want to play anymore. I do not enjoy it anymore. It's not as fun as it used to be. And whether it's actually like more intense or not, the sweats out there are not fun to play against.
Yeah.
Fortunately, Cinna, there's an entire category of games that do not require any of this. And the only combatant you have to face is the difficulty slider.
What?
Yeah.
Really? What are these games called?
Well, they're called a lot of different things, but I guess they all...
From software?
From software. Well, technically not, I guess, right? Elden Ring's multiplayer, if you count the...
In a way. I guess you could say that.
Man, even the single-player games require multiplayer components now, isn't that? But no. Single-player, I'd say, yeah, more often than not, I'm playing single-player, whether that's retro, whether that's more recent offerings. I find myself really enjoying it. I'm able to fit it into my time a little easier. I don't have to rely on the internet. I don't have to rely on friends to play with.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I tend to do. Way back when, that was still the case. I mean, playing handheld, playing on home console, unless you had friends over, unless you had the Game Boy link cable.
Yeah, exactly. I think, well, here's the thing, Squad Cobbler. I've got that Sigma grind set, and basically my real life is single player. I live and die by myself. No one helps me. No, just kidding. Obviously, I'm joking. Most of what I play has been single player, and I don't really ever play multiplayer. Again, not to bring it back too far, but Final Fantasy XIV is like the only multiplayer thing I've really played in a long time.
I have to say, Eggy's crying right now that his Fortnite sessions aren't considered part of your recent multiplayer.
Oh,
sessions.
That's true. Well, I mean, I've been out for about a week now, so I haven't been able to really do it.
That's right. You're officially written off after you're gone for a week. He moves on to Fresh Blood.
Here's the thing. I'll like clock into work, and Eggy's like, "Hey, want to play some Fortnite?" I'm like, "Eggy, I gotta work." Lunchtime. Hey, are you on lunch? You want to play some Fortnite? Eggy, I gotta go back to work. And as much as I love Fortnite,
as it goes, but
or Eggy.
Poor Eggy. Yeah, he'll be all right. He's a very convincing lad. He'll find others. But single player, Ratnado. Tell me, what has been your experience with these types of games?
Well, as you know, I grew up in a time without the internet. I think you're both a little bit younger, so you remember those times. And I think that's how I learned.
The Dark Ages.
In a way, it really was like, I mean, the idea of multiplayer is still very difficult to me because of bad internet, among other things, and time, and who has the time. What I play most games for is the story. The story is most important. That usually takes place in a single-player game and not a multiplayer game. I'm sorry. CinnaMAN is just looking at me. He's holding up The Last of Us. He's just like whining his finger, like speed it up, speed it up. No, but yeah,
I have so little time to talk about The Last of Us.
Yeah, we're almost there. And time. Thank you for being here, CinnaMANToast.
Wait! This isn't fair!
So, but yeah, no, I love single player. I love single player games so much.
Yeah. No, I think a lot easier for the developer to make a uniform experience single player, because, I mean, obviously, you can kind of tailor it to all gamers and not just the good ones or the bad ones or the average ones. How do you feel like single player games can communicate its story well?
I mean, for me, most of my favorite video games out there, including The Last of Us, feel like they are playable movies. Now, The Last of Us is a little bit of a cheating answer due to the fact that we have like 2 weeks until the TV show drops from recording date. Like it's very close. So that's kind of out there, but I'm thinking of certain games like Batman Arkham series. Those were great games that told phenomenal stories that like you genuinely didn't want to put your controller down because you're like, I have to know what happens next. Because so many times, especially after maybe like an hour or two of like story time in that game, after like the mystery's kind of lifted and you kind of understand what's going on, you're like, well, now I have to figure this out for sure. And like it just keeps like getting more and more and more, and like you just get more entranced in that. Same with like the Half-Life series, where after 30 minutes, I think 45 minutes, when you finally get to push the whatever it is into the machine and then the Vortigons come in, you're like, what did I just do?
Yeah.
And you want to like keep going and figure that out. And same with like episode 2 and on, you're just so entranced with the world that's around you, and you're literally just like, why is this world like this? And what's going on? And the voice acting and the story beats are just on point, that it's almost addicting, the story, that I just like, no matter how good or bad I am at the game, I have to know what the story is.
Yeah,
definitely. I feel like you can have a lot more moments in single player games, whereas in the developer can make this boss fight that's super hard, that every player who plays through that game knows, oh yeah, I had the same experience as you on this, man. That was just a brutal boss fight. Or there's a cutscene and it's super emotional and everyone's like, wow, yeah, no, that moment, I remember exactly what that was like and how I felt in that time. And it's a way for the game, even though it's being played just by one person, it connects all the players of it together in that way. Instead of having them all play in the game itself, they can talk about it, they can share that experience together after the fact.
Yeah,
I agree wholeheartedly on that.
Yeah,
like every single word you just spoken.
Tell me, Cinna, do you feel like any games do this particularly well?
I am gonna sound like such a shill when I say this, but every single Sony game 2013 and on. Or maybe it's like 2011. Basically, whenever The Last of Us came out, ever since then and on, like, honestly, I'm not even joking.
No, I mean, I kind of know what you mean. Like, I remember when I got back and I jumped onto PlayStation 3, I got one, and I think I got, like, Infamous 2 with it. I didn't play the first one yet.
Oh, man.
I was blown away as, like, how is this game, like, this good? Like, even now, like, thinking about it now, is like, I don't think anything has, like, story-wise hit me in the same way, or, like, made me as excited. Maybe that's because I'm just old and jaded now, but you know what I'm saying, though? Like, that was exciting, and that was just, like, I don't think it was their premiere game or anything like that, but, it was still really good.
I played through God of War Ragnarok, and 90% of the, I would say like 70 to 80% at least of the story I experienced with my girlfriend watching me play. And she was like, wow, this is a really good story. Like, she was like, you can play it without me. And I was like, I want you to experience this with me. But it was like, I mean, spoilies for anyone who hasn't played the God of War Ragnarok, including you two. When Brock and Sindri, not yet. When Brock died, I was crying my eyes out.
All right.
I had to give him a thumbs up.
That's gonna be a fun one to edit.
Yeah, we're just gonna drop it. He could have said anything just then, so we apologize. We didn't hear that in the edit. We just literally put in whatever he said because we stopped listening.
I genuinely should have said like whatever I want, but at that moment, I'm not gonna spoil it for
everyone,
you guys.
stop listening to this podcast. Come to CinnaMANToast.
Buy Cinna NFTs? What?
Cinna NFT trading cards. At that moment, I genuinely was like absolutely bawling. Like I was crying because every single beat hit perfectly, like more perfect than like should have. And you don't get that in multiplayer games. I don't cry when I play, Apex Legends, except for when I lose like 12 in a row and I'm just losing my mind and I got demoted from plat to gold and then gold to silver. It's
Hey, well, that's a story in and of itself, but that's a documentary in the making, and that could make us cry.
Yeah.
But you don't get these hyper emotional moments in so many of these games. And God of War Ragnarok, even at the end when I like finish the game and I'm just like sitting there kind of recollecting my feelings over everything, I got super emotional because I was like, games are not made like this anymore. And it was more of like, this hurts because I want games to be more like this, and they're just not, because we're too busy chasing money than art nowadays.
Yeah. No, I definitely feel like now there's a lot more focus on, if not multiplayer, then a live service model where even if there is a single player-ish component to it, you have to work in some kind of online capability or leaderboard or something. Now, Cinna, tell me, you said this all changed in 2013 with the Sony games. Take us back to where it all began with The Last of Us.
First of all, I don't think I played The Last of Us until the year after it came out. I had never heard anything about this game. When my buddy goes, "Hey, have you played The Last of Us?" I said, "No." He goes, "How have you never heard of this game?" And I was like, "Because my parents don't let me buy video games. It's so hard for me to buy anything." And he goes, "Here, borrow it." And I spent the entire summer devouring that game like nobody's business.
And shout out that friend coming in clutch.
Yeah, thank you so much. I got to experience a game that made me, as a moody teenager who was too cool and tough to cry, I cried at that intro. We're keeping it spoily free for Mr. Squat Cobbler here, because...
What do you mean? I played through the whole game on the last podcast, remember?
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. I forgot about that.
It might have been edited down slightly, so it may not have been the full unabridged playthrough, but we got the gist of it.
Yeah, we got what was important.
But the intro had me crying as a teenager who refused to cry, because it broke me. That, like, it was so well done. It hurt to experience that. I got to play a game where, during a time where all I wanted to do was play Call of Duty Online, this was the game that took me away from that and kind of opened my eyes and said, hey, video games are more than first-person shooters. Video games are more than spawn, kill, die, spawn, kill, die, spawn, kill, die. It's more than Call of Duty. It's more than Battlefield. It is story. It is art. It is emotion. It's motion capture or not motion capture. It is voice acting, because some studios can't afford it. I'm not gonna exclude games who can't afford that, because art is everywhere. But it's all these games that are like, here is this story that is revolved around great gameplay and voice acting and all this stuff and music. Don't get me started on the soundtrack. Gustavo Santaolalla, I believe is how you pronounce his last name, did a masterful job of making this rough and gritty world and making a soundtrack that masterfully connected that to grounded it. Yeah. Pun intended for Tlu fans out there. From there on, I kind of started sitting there and I was like, video games are more than Call of Duty. And I started getting more and more into story driven games. And shortly around that time was also when I started playing a obscure but one of my all-time favorite games, and I think I played this game more than even the Last of Us, and that was Far Cry 3.
Ah.
Hey.
What is the definition of insanity, CinnaMan?
Don't get me started.
The definition of insanity is scrollies, where we kind of just talk about video games nonstop.
And the true definition of insanity is coming back on Scrollies twice. Like, what?
And hoping something changes.
We didn't scare him away the first time?
Yeah, I know, apparently.
No, that's totally true. And I don't know. Here's the thing. I really think there's something about like 2009 to about 2015 where like I feel like all media, not just like you think of like movies and stuff, but at that time like television and video games were like hitting this stride with high art. Like I think about that of like what is it, Mad Men, Breaking Bad. It was just like nonstop, like incredible TV shows, these super cinematic video games as well. In fact, I'm here to announce today the change of my name because I like cinematic games. I'm changing my name now to CinnaMANToast. That is my new name, spelt CinemaNToast, and I'm only playing high art games. Everybody,
Wow.
come check me out. Twitch.tv CinemaMANToast.
Is there like an apostrophe for the breaking?
Yeah. all the place, everything's already taken up. I might actually make them as a joke.
Wow. Hey, You're the Rat. No one would have thought that You're the Rat would begin with the ending of the Team Rat NATO branding.
And the end of CinnaMANToast. I got competition out here.
No, just joking. That was a long wind up basically for a joke, but that just to say, obviously, just to say, like, I understand what you mean. This is an experience I've shared before on stream, but I wanted to share with you, CinnaMan, because Last of Us, when it came out, my girlfriend at the time actually bought me Last of Us because I was like super hyped about it. She bought it for me. It came out 2 days before my birthday, and we sat down. Like, she went and got it whenever it opened, whenever it came out, and we beat it in 2 sittings. Like, yeah.
Oh my gosh. It took me forever to beat that game.
It was a long time. Like, it was basically 2 sittings. And, like, I mean, when we ended, I was like, oh, I guess I'll take my PlayStation home. I'll probably play it tomorrow. And she's like, no, you're leaving it here and we're finishing it tomorrow. And I'm like, I love you. Let's do this. And then she made chicken tendies the next day. It was truly one of my best memories, one of my best gaming memories. And so, like, I think there is something about that of like being able to pull everybody to the couch and like, I don't have a controller. I'm not playing this, but I'm still invested enough to sit here and watch this. I need to know what happens.
Yeah. And that's what I'm excited about the TV show, because like, hell would freeze over twice before I could convince my mother to put a controller in her hands to play something like this. But boy howdy, if you don't expect me to try to convince her to watch The Last of Us as a TV series and play up the story and not mention once that it's a video game, so that when it's over and she goes, that was really good, be like, that's my favorite video game. Because it does kind of cry. I will say, you know, as a kid, I was just playing a lot of like Medal of Honor and Call of Duty. And so like all she really knows of video games is violent first person shooters. Yeah. And so, yeah, The Last of Us is very violent. But it has one of the best stories ever. And she would never know that because she doesn't care about video games. But she'll watch a TV show.
Normies, now's your time. Cinna's coming for you.
2023 is going to be the year of T-Lu.
Maybe we'll get Squad to go through them all. Who knows? I mean, like, you know, like part 2. I just picked up part 2 for $10 on sale. And I want to get Last of Us Part 1, which is the remaster of The Last of Us.
I bought the Firefly edition.
Ooh.
It's $100. In my opinion, 100% worth it, for a huge fan as myself.
Say you're obsessed without saying you're obsessed.
I'm obsessed.
Squad, would you ever give them a try? Do you plan to at some point?
I do plan to. I bought them when we thought the PS3 store was closing down, I went through and just bought a bunch of the compilations and collections and biggest hits on the PS3. And Last of Us was one of them. I have it on there, downloaded. It's just waiting for the time, and Cinna's breathing down my neck for that time to be sooner than later. So
look, Rat just said that he played it in 2 sittings. That gives you plenty of time to be able to beat it before the series.
There is hope, is what he's saying. No, I do plan to play it at some point. And I have to ask. I mean, hey, we'll say first party Sony titles. That's its own exception. That's a little island in the sea of single player games. But do we feel as if the state of the industry now lends itself to single player, or is it maybe all live service? And what I'm asking is, did Destiny kill the golden age of single player experiences in the early 2010s?
I would say yes, if it wasn't for the fact that name me one multiplayer game that has won Game of the Year.
It Takes Two.
Okay, that's an exception. That's a couch co-op.
You yourself named that game last podcast. I had to do roll the clip. Roll the clip from last episode.
Yes, so Game of the Year was It Takes Two, which is a cooperative game. You can't not play that solo.
I cannot believe I just actually did that, Mr. I brought it up last episode. But to be fair, couch co-op is it's a weird, it is like the love child of multiplayer and single player. But you know what I mean when I say multiplayer, okay?
Sure.
What multiplayer game has won Game of the Year? It has always been single player games, and I feel like recently single player games have been getting a lot more love, especially in the gaming community. But I still also feel like they are also in danger. Because a lot of people hated Elden Ring for a lot of reasons.
Overall, I think to me, like at the end of the day, it seems like, I think for me, it seems most like it's a battle, and it seems like there's a lot of people who are making the decisions, who have the money, who are just saying, do software, live service game, do that, and can we just also like tack that onto our single player games? And but I think there are still a lot of people who are just like, no, we're just gonna do a great single player experience. And I always hate for it to be just like tied to one. I want everybody to be trying. But I will say that I think that at least in the past 10 years, I feel like that's changing a little bit. But Sony really is doing a good job of just saying, we're just bringing you these immaculate stories. I think we touched on that even with Zach a couple weeks ago. Yeah,
voice acting and storytelling, Sony's top tier. I have to like add on to that. I mean, if you're following the money, where's the money at? Is it in single player? Is it in multiplayer? Absolutely not in single player. I mean, even one of my favorite developers for a long time, Rockstar, has basically gone all in with the multiplayer service. GTA Online has become a beast. It's grown into a unkillable monster in and of itself. It's been 10 years since GTA 5 came out, and that aspect of it is still going strong. It makes me fear for what GTA 6 will be. I'm optimistic, but I'm also scared of what the online component of it will be, having been planned out from the start, no doubt. It very well may be that Red Dead Redemption 2 was the last of Rockstar's single player heavy, where that is the primary focus of the game. And I mean, even some of the original staff like Dan Houser, they're gone. So those people aren't involved anymore in Rockstar games. And I think with that, we have reason to be fearful of the future. Likewise, tons of developers are incorporating little multiplayer aspects into their games, or large multiplayer aspects. I mean, Sea of Thieves, that's Rare's game right now. That's a multiplayer game, even though it has single player stories you can do on your own. You're still in a multiplayer world. Elden Ring has the messages that you can leave for other players. Plenty of other examples. Nintendo, I mean, God bless them. Their online service is horrible, but they are incorporating more multiplayer online aspects into their games as they release now. So, I mean, it's everywhere. And I feel like that is going to be the norm, where even your single-player games have online capabilities and multiplayer aspects of them required. So, really, they aren't single-player, are they?
Yeah. Even The Last of Us had the multiplayer Ground Factions, I think it was called, game mode.
Oh yeah.
That unfortunately I never got into, but was also like heavily loved by the Tlu community. Most games out there have some form of online functionality capabilities, even if it's fully single player. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Did they bring that back for part 2 out of curiosity?
The Last of Us Part 2 did not. They were going to add it, but they were kind of like, we're going to make this like so hardcore. We want to make this like its own separate game. And so that's what's Naughty Dog's like. They mentioned that like they shared some screenshots of some like cities that it's going to be taking place in, but it's not released yet. So it didn't come with one.
Okay.
I think it's going to be free to play.
Oh, well.
We'll see. I mean, yeah, we don't have confirmation yet, but
buy your V-Bucks, your shark cards or the equivalent.
Your doggy dollars.
Yeah, your doggy dollars, doggy treats, doggy bags.
Ruby's Rex.
Yeah, no, I think nonetheless, single player games, they're there. They're waiting for you. You just have to know where to look for them. Sony, their exclusives, I mean, that's probably the best place for them at the moment. Xbox, not so much, but even Game Pass has some really great single player titles on it. So yeah, I think, they're still there. They're still available. It's just, you got to look for them a little more than you did in the past.
But for the, benefit of Xbox, they at least had great story campaign starts in their history. I mean, we had Halo, which I think Halo is still considered to be, I genuinely believe Halo is Halo 1 through 3, some of the greatest games ever created with equally phenomenal multiplayer aspects. The campaign and the story through those games are incredible. I know Fable is a beloved series. It's not my thing. It's not my type of games, but Fable 1 through 3, I mean, people adored that series. And without, Xbox, without Microsoft, we wouldn't have those kinds of games. And same with, is it Forza? That is...
Forza.
No.
Forza with a T.
Reliant K fan is out there cringing right now.
I mean, they don't have, campaigns. They don't have stories really, but I mean, single player games don't always have to have like a story campaign. I just wanted to make everyone know that I'm not just some PlayStation shill. I'm a fanboy.
I see a check being passed in from off screen. We'll just assume that's his commission from CinnaMANToast.
Oh, 14 cents. That's up 3% last time.
Or it's a lawsuit. It's one or the other, a commission or a lawsuit from CinnaMANToast.
Hey, you just complimented Xbox. We are taking you for everything.
Also, trademark infringement.
I mean, I want to talk about y'all's favorite story, like campaigns ever.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about The Last of Us, and trust me, I can talk about The Last of Us.
You're satisfied. We have the contract fulfilled. Okay.
Yeah, the contract is fulfilled, but like there's so many games, like just a few games off the top of my head. As I've already mentioned, Far Cry 3, but like Titanfall 2, one of my favorite like first-person shooter campaigns ever. It was so unique and wonderful and highly underrated. But I want to hear y'all's. Like, what is your favorite story? What is your favorite single player campaign? And you can have like a few answers. I'll accept it.
For the longest time, Arkham City was my favorite modern game, quote unquote.
Solid answer.
Until the point where it basically was no longer modern by my standards, so I had to find a new one. At the time, I was playing Red Dead Redemption 2. Played that game real slow over the course of about 2 years, and that mostly came down to how sad it made me during the story.
That's pretty accurate. Yeah,
I was a sad boy, and I was like, man, this sucks. Like, I like the game, I like the world, but man, the story is just such a downer at points. So I'd like take a break from it for a month and I'd come back, and I mean, finally beat it over about 2 years. Finished up in 2021, the epilogue, and wow, that story just from start to finish was just so large in scope. It just covered so much of this world of this gang, just the slow descent from the good times to just whittled down to nothing. Arthur Morgan, I mean, we talked about it in our top characters, one of my favorite game characters of all time. I think he was just masterfully done, even better than John Marston, having now played the first one.
So you played Red Dead 2 and then Red Dead 1?
Yeah, I never played Red Dead 1 until
Now are you gonna just play Red Dead Revolver just to finish it out?
I'll go backwards. Yeah.
You should.
Yeah.
You really should, though. It is a good game.
Yeah. I have it on PSN, I think. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'll have to give Red Dead Revolver a try, complete the trilogy. Maybe playing that will send me back from Yeehaw times. Maybe that's how that works.
I'm surprised you're not talking like John Marston around there. Just shooting up some saloons.
I was for a little bit, and then they called me things I can't repeat in the 21st century. So we'll just leave that alone. But yes, no.
I'll say it. Yellow.
Yellow bellies.
How dare you? Don't you call me yellow.
Oh my god, Squatch just swung on me.
Nobody calls me yellow. Red Dead Redemption 2, like I said, Dan Houser, that was his last game at Rockstar, and I really hope that they can continue that quality storytelling in his absence, but
and what a freaking note to leave on.
Everything about that game was it was so intentional. The details in that game, so great. People are still discovering little bits of foreshadowing, little Easter eggs in regards to the story, even to this day, years after it came out. So we're almost, 2023 now. We're about 5 years from its release, so very soon it may no longer be modern by my standards. I'll have to find a new favorite modern game. But that's it for me right now, is Red Dead Redemption 2. Ranito, how about yourself?
We're getting real close to calling it retro by squad standards.
Oh no. Is a late release PS4 title retro?
Is Arkham City a retro? Join me on my retrospect. Thank you for joining in my video essay.
I think my most favorite modern is also getting pretty close. I think the one I think of that something that really just grabbed me as a single player game is Persona 5, and that's 2017. Okay. So I could go and say, hey, Royal was just released 2 years ago, a year ago, whatever it was, and Persona 5 was really great. I think it just did something that a lot of games don't do. It brought together a lot of really great things. It's kind of the praise I give to Fallen Order as well, is it kind of took the best of everything and is like, okay, here's the 2010s in a game. So for example, Persona 5, it's kind of like Pokemon. It's a little bit like an RPG, but it's also got this dating sim stuff going on and all this it's just this, it's so many different things. Music's incredible, it looks great, very stylish, and probably one of the best, I would say. And I can't believe I'm putting that up there. I don't know if this actually belongs there, but it's the first thing that came to mind. Like I said, Fallen Order, Star Wars Fallen Order, because it is it's kind of a Dark Souls. It's kind of, it looks great. It plays great. It's got a pretty good music, a nice story. And I think you 180'd on Sonic. I think I 180'd on Fallen Order because I personally was just I really haven't liked a lot of the Disney Star Wars stuff. If you like it, that's great. That's fine. It's not really my thing. And so I remember when Fallen Order came out, I'm I'm probably not going to like it because it's not the stuff I like about Star Wars. And then I got it for cheap and I was like, wow, this game is really good. I really enjoy it. So I don't know if I'm ready to give it a best of, but it's something that definitely stuck out in the single player arena of modern games.
Here's a follow-up question. Do you think expectations have factor of measurement on whether or not we consider a game great? For instance, I genuinely I love Jedi Fallen Order so freaking much. It is genuinely, being honest, I think it is the best Star Wars game. Now, this is also me coming from I've never played some of Knights of the Old Republic, stuff like that. I've not played that because that's not my style of game. So this is not me discrediting those games. I just haven't been able to get into them. But I went into Fallen Order. I had Origin Premium Access, so I got to play it quote unquote for free on launch. I went in with zero expectations. I actually went in with expectations that it was going to suck because they were like, oh, an EA game or an EA published game, single player, and there's not going to be microtransactions. Sure. And then I was like, wow, they actually kept their promise. Wow, this story is actually really good. I feel like my expectations being as basically through the floor as it was did help my thought process of saying it's probably the best Star Wars game. But do you guys think that low or high expectations can hurt whether or not we consider a game to be great?
I think as far as expectations go, it certainly it's possible to get overhyped. I mean, I think we've all had that happen before, where someone's like, "Oh, this is the best thing ever," and then you play it, and it's like, "Ah, it's all right." That being said, I do think that when things are really well regarded, they're well regarded for a reason. Even if they may not necessarily be your specific tastes, I think that anyone can come around to that and at least like understand why. Sometimes that may take like additional playthroughs. Sometimes that may take just like, talking to people and video essays and all that kind of stuff. But an example for myself, Super Metroid. When I first played that, I didn't really know the reputation of it. I got it because it was 30 cents on the eShop at the time. Which, would never happen now. But, I had, at the very least, like, I had heard it was good. So I'm like, okay, well, hey, this is a good game. Like, I'll play it. I played it and, took a break from it. Like it was a slow playthrough. I would come and go back to it over the course of a few months. Finally, I beat it and I'm like, yeah, it was all right. Like, it was fine. And then I played it again. Did better the next time. Knew where everything for the most part was. Didn't get lost as much. So yeah, I'm like, okay, I'm starting to see what this game is doing. I'm starting to see how it kind of guides you. That's, cool. Played it again. I'm like, wow, I'm getting better. There's a lot of like additional like techniques here they don't even really teach you. You just kind of figure out. But the environments communicating to you like all these little like subtextual storytelling moments. Hey, really, really, really solid Super Nintendo game. Played it again and again and again and again. And at this point in time, I consider it the best game I've ever played. Just on so many levels, it's masterfully made, can be broken in half, and developers basically give you full permission to do that, play it in whatever way you want. So with that, not that I was overhyped or expectations played a significant factor there, but I think that upon additional playthroughs, I was able to kind of mitigate that first kind of lukewarm takeaway and see it for what it was, which is excellent, truly. And I'm sure for some people, they may feel the same way. They may have loved it the first time around and thought it was, perfect, 10 out of 10. But that's just for me. My expectations did play a role there, and I think that over time they fell by the wayside.
Yeah, I think for me, I've got two quick examples. The first one being Watch Dogs. I was so hyped for that game. I pre-ordered it. I installed it day one, and I was completely let down.
I'm so sorry.
and yeah, no, that was really kind of my moment. That and Beyond Two Souls, where I was kind of just like, I was super hyped for something, and then I played it, and I was like, I'm not pre-ordering things anymore unless I'm for sure. And I've pre-ordered a few things since then, but only if I already like am hyper invested and kind of like you're saying, like I kind of know how it's going to be. Another one, and this is calling out Chunky Cat, Ghost of Tsushima. For weeks, maybe months, I was like, Ghost of Tsushima looks really great. I can't wait. And when it came out, she's like, I don't know, it doesn't look that great. And I was like, no, it met my expectations and exceeded them. So I thought of that right after I said like my favorite modern single player game, and Ghost of Tsushima has to be up there, probably even above Persona.
Yeah, it's like it's number 2 in my spot. Ghost of Tsushima.
Calling out Chunky Cat at the same time. Go check out our Instagram where you can see the stickers that she made. Scrolly's.
I got to open mine.
Scrolly's stickers. Thank you, Chunky Cat, for that.
Thank you, Cat.
We've got merch. I mean, kind of, but. You know what I'm saying.
Only 10 of them in existence, and you had to DM her for them. So unofficially official, Scrollies is not liable for any potential no.
yeah, exactly. If you got one, you're in the club.
Yeah, welcome.
We're in the Docs Club. She knows where we all live.
Yeah, Cat holds it over us now. All right, well, I think we'll probably call it there. Cinna, thank you so much for coming back on. Hey, we've now talked the entirety of video games with you, both single and multiplayer. That covers everything, right? So
yeah, you guys can stop your podcast now. We've covered it all.
We've reached the end. There's nothing more to talk about. If any of you are upset we didn't talk about any games, bring it up with Cinna because this was his moment.
Yeah, the only sorry. I don't take questions.
I guess we can let them know now, right? That like this whole podcast was just CinnaMAN's like, hey, what if you guys for like a year
and we just pull the rug out from under them? Just
The truth revealed.
Pull the freaking plug. Get screwed.
Yeah, sorry, you're not getting those last 2 Composer episodes. This is it.
Yeah. And again, we're not talking mobile games, though. Those don't count. They're not real.
Oh, well, we're going to talk those, so I guess we got to delete that episode.
You're probably gonna play this clip, the episode, the one episode you do with some person, like, hey, we're gonna talk about mobile games. Hey, remember when CinnaMan said they're not real games?
Nonetheless, Cinna, good to have you back. Tell us, what are you doing right now that people can check out online?
Yeah, no, I'm getting ready to start streaming some more. Streaming some VR games soon. Yeah,
fancy.
Yeah, it's been a very hot minute, but I'm thinking about doing another run through of The Last of Us: Saints and Sinners, and I plan on doing that.
The Walking Dead.
What did I say? Did I say The Last of Us?
The Last of Us.
Dang it!
He's got Last of Us on the mind.
I'm so excited.
He's sprinting to the topic.
Yeah, sorry. It is The Walking Dead: Saints and Sinners. I'm sorry. If you are a Last of Us fan and you thought there was a new VR experience, I'm sorry to disappoint you.
Yeah, Scrolly's exclusive, announced by CinnaMan.
Yeah, that was part of our contract, is that I got to announce it. You can also check me out. I am co-producing a podcast called Pixel Snobs. It is run by a friend of my sister's. She was a guest on that recently, and they talk about the art of video games rather than just like video games in general. They will play one game and then kind of talk about the art on there. I'll be a guest, I think, on his next episode. He wants to do Ghost of Tsushima, and I'm planning on kind of playing through that real quick to have some like specific notes on that. But it's called Pixel Snobs, and it's going to be pretty fun. I think it'll be a pretty fun podcast. I think it'd be something that you guys might be interested in too.
Nice. Is that on all platforms?
It is on Spotify. That I believe it's just on Spotify at the moment. Should be pretty easy to find.
Well, our stats do say that most of you listen to us on Spotify. So, hey, you're in the app already. Go ahead, hop on over there and check them out.
Yeah.
Pixel Snobs.
I really think 2023 is going to be a good year of growth, and excited for that too, because I'm going to try to do better at posting like TikToks and clips like that and growing my channel. I have another YouTube video planned. I've been playing Battlefield 2042 with my buddies offline just because it doesn't do well on stream. 10 to 12 frames a second is not fun to watch, just an FYI. And it's all right, but I enjoy playing it with them, and we have some great hilarious times together. So I have another video hopefully coming soon once I just get some more clips together. And yeah, just follow me on twitch.tv/CinnaMANtoast. Would love to have you guys there. We're just playing dumb games and having dumb fun.
All right, well, links for that down below. Check out CinnaMANtoast and his content across the plethora of platforms. Ratnado, how about yourself? What's the year of the rat got in store for us?
Okay, so by this time, I should hopefully have Plague Tale Requiem done. I'll be finishing up Metroid Dread. I'll be working on Sonic Frontiers. And so that's kind of like up to date, and finishing Crisis Core. So those are kind of like in the realm right now. Currently, I'm trying to finish the Final Fantasy XIV main scenario quest up to Endwalker, catch up with Vivian, catch up with Rexel. I mean, technically everybody. And so I'll be burning through those hopefully over the next couple weeks. And then after that, I think we're gonna maybe, if the internet continues to be good, we're getting back to some game shows and maybe some D&D.
Let's go.
So
Scorpity round 2.
Scorpity round 2, hopefully. And who knows, you guys might see Icy James soon live.
Yeah, the first appearance. A year in the making.
And yeah, that's it. Come check me out, twitch.tv/TeamRatnado, or alternatively, where I only play single player games and don't talk during the cutscenes, at CinnaMANToast. That's CINEMAN Toast.
Excellent. yeah, for myself, still booking along through Mario and Rabbids at a much quicker pace now, so hopefully going to be finishing that up pretty soon before moving on to something else. And that's kind of it right now, but who's to say what this new year holds for the Squat Cobbler content. But yeah, check out the YouTube, check out...
More voice acting work?
Oh, no doubt, every day.
So many big sunflower plots that gotta be played in video games, you know?
Cinna messaged me. He thought that my Mario and Rabbids voice acting was to the level that it was really bad professional voice acting. So I'll take that as a compliment.
Okay, no! Out of context!
But still a professional.
Just that Nintendo really cheaped out on it.
No, that is not what I said. That is so out of context. I feel very misrepresented here.
He didn't message me about it though, and I laughed.
I was like, "Are you doing the voices?" Like, yeah. I go, "Okay, there we go. Yeah, there we go."
Makes sense. All right. Thank you all for listening. We will catch you in the next one. And hey, remember to share those Discord gifts. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you have to listen to the whole episode to find out. Sucker!
Bye. I'm waving goodbye, everyone. I know you can't see it, but just believe it. I love you all. Thank you for getting me here. It's been a great pleasure.
Yeah, we'll see you in 2024, Cinna.
Okay, sounds good.
Bye.
See you later.
And since I'm a guest, I feel like it's probably already taken care of for me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We just mean like a local redundant.
Yeah.
We like redundancies now over here.
For when that tactical airstrike hits all the server centers, we can
Tactical air coming.
There's nothing more important.
Few moments we have left.
No, we're talking about video games, and this is my last conversation is video games.
Quick, just edit it real quick. Put it up for the survivors.
Yeah, CinnaMan, do you have any last words before the asteroid hits the Earth? Yeah, iPhone gamers are not real gamers.
Dang, that's
well, there we go. There it is. There's our outtake. I mean, is he wrong though?
No, I'm not. This is a hill I will die on.
oh man, oh boy.
Now, Cinna, tell me, you said this all changed in 2013 with the Sony games. Take us back to where it all began with The Last of Us.
First of all, let me look up the release date. I was right. It was 2013.
I know the date. Yeah, I know the date.
June 14th.
It's 2023 for us, but am I hulking out? Did you see that?
You're hulking out, dude.
Did you
you're
see that? It was
out.
flashing green. That's weird.
The whole green screen studio behind Squat is falling down. What? Squat is just two audios on each other's back. Like what?
In a trench coat.
In a trench coat the whole time.
And this is how I had my revenge. What even is this intro?
I don't know, man. I don't know.